Hi everyone, I'm Jane. I work at the farm, and if you've been by this week you might have picked up one of these little bags which contain all you need to make your own piece of felted wool at home. If you haven't got one and would like one, if you pop by the farm we've got some more. So in the bag, if you've got it, if you open it very carefully, slide the wool out onto the table. You should have some white, and in this piece of paper, coloured pieces of wool. So this is sheep's wool. It's not from our sheep, we've bought it in. It's from merino sheep, which are primarily in New Zealand. It's easier to do hand felting with, so we've got lots of different colours there. And then the white, if you carefully just have a look at it, you've got 3 pieces, so 1, 2, 3. So that's how your wool should look laid out. So this is all we're going to need, along with a little bit of soap and some hand hot water. But we don't want to get this wet yet until we've laid it out. So yeah, to start with your 3 pieces of white wool, using your thumb and forefinger, or however's comfortable for you, you just gently tease the wool out until it's a square kind of shape. So you don't have to do it as quick as me, because I've done it quite a lot, so I'm quite quick at doing it. You want all 3 to look like that. Maybe pull the bottom out. So you've got 3 pieces about that size. So that's 1. Then I'll do the next one, same way. Just gently teasing it out, trying to keep it all together. I want to make big holes in it. You might be able to see through parts of it, but just like that. So that's 2, and then the last one, very carefully. There's no rush. I'm doing it a little bit quicker than you will, just to make the video, and because I've got a bit of experience, so I can do it a little bit quicker. But really, that's it. So then 3. So when you've got your 3 pieces, if you look, the way you pulled it, the wool's all straight, going one way. Because that's because it's been brushed nice and straight, so it's easy for us to felt. So with the 3 pieces, we're going to lay them together, but in a special way. So the bottom one you have going up and down. The second one, not up and down, you lay it across in the middle, so that's going across. And then the one on top, up and down. So you've got 3 pieces, and then I just normally very gently tuck the edges in. Sometimes it looks a little bit loose. So your 3 pieces will look like this. You can lay that down. Let's get into this nice shape. So what hand felting is adding soap and water and pressure in different ways, and what will happen is the sheep's wool's got hundreds of little fibres on it. Once you start adding the soap and water, they'll start knotting together. They kind of just cling to each other, and that's what's going to make it into a piece of material. So with your colours, you won't need all of that. You can't just get that and plonk it down because it will be too thick. What you need to do is pull a little bit off. So I'll show you a few little designs, and then I'm going to make a rainbow because that's kind of the easiest one to show on the film. But you just pull lines. I'll show you how to do the heart because some of the children that come today was looking at the hearts. So they stretch the wool out. It's like drawing with wool, and then you just lay it down gently, and then you get another thin piece, stretch it out and lay that down. So I'm doing the outline of the heart, so it's like drawing with wool. So I'll turn that round so you can see. I've just stretched it round to make the heart. Then if you wanted to fill it in, just pull off little bits like that to colour the whole part in. You don't have to colour it in red. I'm just using red. You can use any of the colours. You could even make a rainbow heart. So you could just put different colours however you want. And it will felt together so you have a multicoloured heart. Put a little bit on top, whatever you like. If you wanted to make a spotty pattern, let's try a bit of green this time. Just pull a little bit off, stretch it out, and then wrap it around your finger quite tight, and you get like a circle shape. If you lay that down, if you do a few of them in different colours, you get a really nice spotty piece of cloth at the end. This, what I'm doing here is also good if you just want to make eyes. If you wanted to make a face, you just wrap bits around your finger, then you can use it for eyes or nose or even ears. So if I wanted to make that into a face, I could just put that as the nose and then stretch a bit more out to make a mouth, and then you'd have a nice smiley face. You could add ears at the side, make them a bit of a different shape if you wanted. I'll do it different colour from the eyes. You can also add hair. If you wanted to give it some hair. Maybe you wouldn't need an ear then, you should have hair. So it is basically drawing with wool. There's lots of things you can do. This is just quick demonstration. If you take your time, you can make trees with the brown and green. So you just make the trunk, and then I can actually show you quickly with this. You have a trunk, just the way I've done the eyes. You lay it down, and then just twist these up again. Twist them up, and you can make tree tops. Do the same and add some rays and have the sun at the top. It's a bit fiddly, just make some more yellow. So that's the little tree in the sun, so you can do practically anything you like. I'll change it to now and show you the felting is a rainbow, because I know when the children are normally here they love making the rainbows. So to make the rainbows very easy, just stretch the colours out again. Any colours you can make a rainbow with. So I'll start with the blue. It's just a long line. It's a bit like doing an upside down mouth or rainbow shape, semicircle. I'll put the first one on. And I'll use another colour. So put a bit of orange next to the blue. Out and then line that up the same shape next to the blue. Yellow, keep building the colours up. Whatever colours you've got in your pack, some packs have got different colours. Make sure you stretch it out, don't have it too thick. If it's too thick it won't felt either. So you're better off to have thinner rather than fatter strips. And you can just use little bits, just layer them as you go round as well if you run out of long bits. And you can see the rainbows coming together a bit now. You can use all the colours that you've got. It doesn't have to be perfect rainbow, it can be any shape you like. Another favourite with the children is actually just straight lines instead of bending them, straight lines all the way across, and yeah, it just comes out like a stripy piece of material. Stretch that out a bit more. Another one. Green. Orange. Brighten that middle up. So there you can see it's not a perfect rainbow shape. Mine never are, but I think that's enough now. We'll leave a little bit of light at the bottom. So what we have to do now is we're going to add the soap and water, but very carefully what you do first is turn it over. So you can just place one hand gently on and just flip it over. It's actually sort of already clinging to the wall, so you don't have to worry too much about turning it over. If you've made a face with eyes or a nose, you can just have a little peek underneath to see things are still in place. Over, you want to be very, very careful with it, especially at this first part. So the first move, we have to do about 3 moves It'll take 10 to 15 minutes at least. You need to spend at least 5 minutes on each move. And as we're doing it, I'll tell you, you can tell how flat it is if you can move on to the next move. So the first move, we're just going to have our hands flat. Just going to press very gently down on our wall. If you want to practice doing that before you start, 2 hands down very gently. Because if we start doing it rough, all our picture underneath will mix up and it will just look like a scribbly drawing. So we don't want that. So once you've had a little practice, 2 hands, you want to put a little bit of soap on your hands, 2 little squirts, rub them together and then pour just a little bit of your warm water in the middle and a few little drops around the edge, just so the water soaks the water up. So with your hands very gently pressing down. So we want the wall to soak the water up very gently at the beginning. Just keep pressing very gently. And the more we press, the more it will soak the water up. And what we're trying to do, or what we are doing, is we're squashing all the air out of the wall. So you need to press down quite hard on the table. And you can see the wall soak the water up really nicely. Make sure you do all around the edges. Very gently. Just keep pressing. Very gently. And the more you do it, gently but firmly, the more you do it, now at the beginning, the better your piece of felt will come out. If you've got lots of water like me, you can just whoosh a little bit away. If you're doing it on the kitchen table, you can mostly soak it up with a little cloth, or if you can, just whoosh it on the floor. So now I'm just going to keep pressing and pressing a little while. And I'm trying to get it as flat as a pancake, really flat to the table. I use 2 hands, keep them nice and flat, it will flatten quicker. I can actually see the walls starting already to felt together. We still have to be very gentle with it. Just do this a couple more minutes. So if you're at home, I normally time it, so this first part you want to spend really at least 5 minutes on it, getting it really flat. This is most probably the more important than the other moves we're going to do afterwards. So you just keep pressing and pressing. You can kind of see it's going flat to the table now. So still pressing and squeezing all the air out. Get rid of some of that water. making sure you press around the edges as well. One more minute and we do the next move. If yours don't look as flat as mine does, you have to keep pressing. You can't move on if it still looks quite bumpy, or if it's not all wet. If it doesn't get all wet at the first time you put the water on, just add a little bit more around the edges. It's normally the edges around here that might need a bit of extra water. And if the edge looks a little bit thin like it does there, you can kind of see the tablecloth through it. Don't worry, the edges do go a bit thin sometimes, but just concentrate and keep on pressing. Right, that's looking quite flat, I should say. Get rid of that water. I'm scooping it away with my hand, but if you was at home you could use less water to start, and just add as you go along. But it's important that it is all wet all the way through, so I always say a bit more is better than a bit less. Right, so if you have a good look at that now, you can see it's quite flat and looking quite smooth. Still going to be very gentle with it. So the next move is like a hand shimmy. So it's like keeping your hands flat still, but shimmying one forward and one back. Forward and back, forward and back. You can practice before you put it on your felt, and then when you put them down, it's just very gentle movements, not hard, not really rough, treating it like it's a delicate piece of fabric, and then all around the edges. So you're going over the edges, but onto the middle of your felt, so your hands are covering the whole piece of material. Oval. Just to show you, very gently. Just do this for a couple of minutes, gently. And if you look at your wool while you're doing it, you'll see some of the fibres start going a different way. So what we're doing is mixing all the little fibres of the wool together. They're all getting stuck together, a bit like that, and then they start shrinking. So nice and tight, so it doesn't pull apart and rip. So while we're doing this, things are happening to the wool underneath our hands. We can't really see, but we'll see a difference in the texture of what the wool looks like. So all the way around the edges as far as you can, and then back to the middle and across. I have to do this for a good few minutes. If your arms get tired, you can stop for a minute, just have a little rest, but it is quite hard work. But once you've got most of the water off, you can just sit at the table, but you need to put a bit of pressure on it. So I always find standing up's better, because then I can use the weight of my body to push down gently but firmly. Just keep rubbing back and forward. I actually find it quite soothing. It feels very soft on your hands, the mixture of the wool and the soap. I'm doing it with one hand just so you can see. I'm going back and forward. And I can feel it's actually coming together. Oops, you can see that because it's scrunched up a bit. Try and keep it flat and try not to peep until you've turned it over at the end. Sometimes if you lift it up, your colours and your pattern falls off. It's always a nice surprise when you turn over at the end to see what you've created. You can see it's actually starting to move a bit as one piece of cloth now. So if you get to that where it moves all in one, you can start doing it a little bit harder and faster and moving it round the table even, just like that. It's like pushing the table just in front of you, not too far, and then the other way, and then a bit more shimmy. And then I normally start turning it round using my hands. So it's going all the way around. Just a bit more shimmying. And the more you do it, better your pattern will felt in. Don't forget about the edges, it's not just the middle, so you can go over the edges onto the table and then round again. Mine looks really soapy. You only really need 1 to 2 small squirts of soap, and that's really soapy soap I've used. You can rinse it after, but if yours doesn't look this soapy, don't worry, it doesn't have to be. Give it another good little going over. It looks like it'll be ready to see what it looks like on the other side before we finish it off. So keep it, good work, hard, try and use all your strength. Round and round, turn it round. I can actually see it's gone from being loose wool to a piece of material now. See, it's really come together. So I'll give it one more minute just to make sure. You can look and see it's all felted together. Last couple of spins. I think that might be it. And then what we normally do on the farm, which you can do at home, which the children find fun, is before they turn it over, they do a 10-second countdown. So we normally say 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and turn over. And there you have it, soapy and lovely. I have to give it a quick rinse so you can see it properly. Definitely overdone it on the soap. Our rainbow. So what I'll do is, I'll show you it properly in a minute. I'll just roll it up and try and get rid of some of this soap. I'm doing it on the floor, but if you're at home, do it on your table. And then I just rinse it in the water. Hold it together, rolled up like you had it. Rinse it off again. And when you open it up, you'll see your pattern. So we've got our multicoloured rainbow. Then what you can do is roll it up one more time, give it another squeeze. And then open it out. And always say, if you look at the back, you can just pull it gently to get rid of any creases. And to know it's sort of, that's as flat as you're going to get it. And that will be your finished piece of felt. Now it's still quite wet. If you leave it overnight, if you lay it on the kitchen plate, on your kitchen counter, it will dry. So then in the morning, if you don't like the shape of it, once it's dry, you can use scissors and you can cut round the edges to give it a nice rainbow shape. If you've made faces or hearts, you can cut round the shape then, but you have to wait until it's dry. Don't cut it while it's wet because it will change shape overnight. Yeah, so that's basically it. Felting on the farm, how we do it. If you've enjoyed watching this and would like to learn more, there's lots of other videos on YouTube, not just the farm ones, on felting. So you can take this pastime even further.